Hey y'all, happy Sunday and happy Daylight Savings Day today. I hope you all enjoyed losing an hour of sleep as much as I did. But yeah, today we're going to be discussing my rental house, if I'm making any money so far, and things I would or would not do differently moving forward. So here we go. All right, so first we're going to discuss kind of how things are going so far and if I'd make any changes to date. More administratively, and then I'll get to the numbers next. So, administratively speaking, it's pretty awesome. My property manager is Miss Jen. She is fantastic. She keeps me informed of any expenses that we need to make sure the house is ready to go for tenants moving in. Uh, she lets me know when things are happening, and for that I appreciate it. It's nice to know that someone I can trust is taking care of it. I started working with Miss Jen through a recommendation of a mentor of mine, Grant, awesome guy. And it also helps to, when you invest in stuff like this, to have a mentor to kind of teach you how things are going through your process. So I think I was set up for success to start. We operate, or I receive my income from my house, my rent, through a website called Buildium. It's the website management website she uses to manage payroll and expenses and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome because at the end of the year, for tax purposes, I can print out a statement that shows all the expenses that had to be made to keep the house working and ready for my tenants during the year. So pretty cool. Also through Buildium, it shows how much money I make, and that's how much money gets deposited into my account, which is nice. So when deciding how much to rent our property for, again, I'll talk numbers in a second. Uh, you want a tenant in your property as soon as possible. So Abby and I decided that we will take a small loss up front in order to get a tenant in the house sooner than later. So basically, what we want to do is on the NMLS system. That's where everybody lists properties to buy, sell, rent, and so on. We undercut people so that we could get a tenant in our house. All right, so now we're going to talk numbers. So first and foremost, my mortgage on the house. So my mortgage includes the PITI or PITI. It's the principal, the interest, taxes, and insurance. So of course you can see all that here on the screen now. So that's my mortgage. Not all mortgages include taxes and insurance. It just depends on your lending company and how they do things. I like that my mortgage company includes everything, so I don't have to worry about being delinquent on taxes or worrying about missing insurance payments. So I like that it takes care of all of it myself. For rent, we are renting our place out for $1,650. Like I said earlier, we are looking to undercut the competition in our area because I valued getting a tenant in my property sooner than later. And, that's one less month where I have to pay the entire mortgage. And then lastly, our property management fee is 10%. And El Paso, that's when we're looking for property managers, everybody in El Paso is 10%. So 10% of the 1,650 is $165. So that's our property management. Of course, if I have any expenses, that'll come out from the $1,650 minus my property management fee. So that's how the numbers work there. Now, if you're smart at math, you should look at that and say, John, those numbers don't quite add up. That doesn't sound like a good financial decision. And you're not totally wrong. The question is, okay, we're losing money on the house right now. Why are we still trying to rent? Why didn't we sell? And so here's our logic. First and foremost, when renting it, we knew we wanted to rent the house, and I can get into that later, but we wanted to rent the house. And like I said before, a lot of similar houses in the area were going for like the 1,800, 1,900 range. And that's what I wanted. I would have wanted 1,800. But like I said before, a lot of those houses were sitting on the market for like 3 months. And I'd rather have income over that time than not have any at all. Does that make sense? Like I'd rather have, was whatever 1,650 minus 165 is. I'll have it on the screen. I'd rather have that for March, April, and May than pay the whole mortgage myself for March, April, and May, only to get a renter in June. So I'd rather have money now than money later. So that's why I'm taking the slight hit for this first contract with my current tenant. The other part is, so obviously the other option would have been to sell. If I knew I couldn't make any money renting it, I could have sold it. So the house I have was brand new when I bought it at the end of 2022. And it's also in a newer subdivision as well, with a lot of newer houses being built. I felt like I could not sell the house for a profit at the time to be worth selling it. So I figured, okay, well, worst case scenario, I could pay off more of the principal over the next couple of years, and then if I had to sell it later, I could. And that brings us into our exit plan. So I've said this before: any investment you have, stocks, bonds, CDs, savings account, you should have an exit plan in case things go wrong. So here's our exit plan for our house. First, worst case scenario, we rent the property out. We continue to not make any profit rent the property out. We continue to not make any profit over the next 2, 3, 4 years, or excuse me, not 4, 2 years. At that time, we would sell the house in that third year, and here's why. So for those of you who don't know, as long as you live in a house for 2 of the last 5 years, you can sell that house and not pay any capital gains, if you have any, of course, on that house. The other part of our exit plan, and this would be if we meet these conditions, we won't exit the investment, is we plan to pay down extra money on the principal as our personal investment into the house, so that we can refinance at a sooner date, and that way it'll bring down our whole mortgage, and we'll be able to begin cash flowing positive on this house. So right now, the reason why we're keeping this house is because Abby and I believe in the value. You're believing Rob Kiyosaki, and if we hold real estate, you can borrow against that later in the future to buy other assets down the road. So our hope is that by putting a little Dave Ramsey in there, by paying down extra principal now, we'll be able to leverage that house later, in the next 10, 15 years when it grows in value and equity. We can leverage that equity we've built up by paying down principal and also having a tenant pay down some principal as well, to buy another house in El Paso if we wanted. And that way, when we do that, we'll have 2 houses with 2 rental incomes coming in. And again, if we wanted to, we could continue to pay down the principal on both those houses, and eventually having both those houses cash flow positive for us, and begin working on more of that passive income, so that we can retire early. Now, again, this is no get rich quick scheme. I said it in my dividend stocks last week. And true investing is investing over periods of time. Now, of course, if I win the lottery tomorrow, you bet I'm going to put money into this house and basically pay it all off at once, so that I can take out debt against it again and buy another house. If I can do that, I will. But for the time being, I'm limited by my income, limited by Abby's income, and of course, whatever I can charge for rent, and be competitive and still keep a tenant in the house. Being a landlord is no easy task, but it's rewarding to be able to provide someone the opportunity to live somewhere. And also, I am learning a lot about real estate, and that's something, whether this investment goes positive or negative, I'll be able to take all the stuff I've learned now and put it towards the next investment. And that's what this YouTube channel, and that's what this video series is here to show you. So I hope you got something out of today. I love each and every one of you, and I'll see y'all in the next video.